Hello everyone, today I would like to introduce to you the movie The Call of the Wild. A dog is occupying a puddle. The dog next to him wants to drink, but it roars to stop him. Corn can't stand it. One leg kicked off the ice. The other dogs quickly ran around beside him to drink water together. The other dog was very angry, because this wasn't the first time he had a disagreement with him. Join the first team, when passing by, accidentally hit its tail with its tail. This made the leader of the dog group become wary. In the evening, the owner gave each of these dogs a fish. Corn was also assigned one. The dog boss stole the golden dog's fish. Corn thought for a moment and then gave his only food to this little yellow dog. All the dogs here were surprised. Not long before that, Corn was still a rich dog. There was no law in the house destroying things. No one could control it. But that night, the dog dealer used food to lure and abducted it. When Corn regained consciousness, it was trapped in this boat. Corn couldn't wait any longer, rushed to the deck. The snow and ice scene made Corn overwhelmed. It turned out that it was trapped by the gang, selling dogs to Alaska. After getting off the boat, this is the first time that Corn has stepped on snow. This unprecedented feeling makes him feel unbelievable. Seeing the snowflakes falling from the sky, he roared with excitement. A black man bought it. So Bap became a sled dog. But the first time pulling his sled didn't go well. All dogs are well trained, only it staggered and wobbled. It was not easy to keep up with the pace of this large army. Along the way, it was suddenly attracted to a rabbit. It ran absently out of the line, dragging the whole group with it, downhill. Looking at their miserable faces, Corn felt guilty. But the owner was not angry. He encouraged Bap that they were on the same team. We are a team. If we fall, we will fall together. If we stand, we will stand together. It wasn't long before the clever Bap got used to pulling the cart. He quickly joined the team, becoming an excellent sled dog. That day, they had to cross a small river, but the airs were small. The accident happened. The iceberg suddenly broke, causing the female owner to immediately fall into the icy river. She tried her best but was still swept deep by the current. Dangerous moment. Corn did not hesitate to rush over. It rushed over and jumped into the river. Bap found the female owner. He carried her on his back, then kept looking for a way out. Desperately smashed into the iceberg. Bap decided to take a risk. He used all his strength. The last force broke the ice. The mistress was successfully rescued. Corn's position in her master's heart skyrocketed. Even at dinner, she also gave her a chicken thigh as a reward. But this made the dog boss jealous. It realized that Bap's actions had seriously affected its position. A mountain could not contain two kings. It decided to fight with Bap. Last night there, Corn met that little rabbit again. It and his companions were playing with the rabbit. Suddenly, the dog boss rushed to bite the small white rabbit to death. The rest of the dogs were dumbfounded by the cruelty of the rabbit. The dog boss. No dog dared to speak up. Only Bap howled angrily at the dog boss. The dog boss also slowly walked towards Bap. It wants to fight Corn, to regain its majesty in the ranks. The fierce dog boss attacks in succession. And Bap is a dog in a rich family, never fighting. The dog boss jumps up, knocks down the pond, bit hard on the back. Then the dog boss attacked again. The consecutive attacks caused Corn to lose the battle. It fell in the snow and lost consciousness. After defeating the dog boss looked down at the other dogs, wanted to set up, restored their authority. The dogs also lowered their heads in fear. They did not dare to look at it. But after spending days together, in the hearts of these dogs, the answer was already there. This dog often the day he was bullied the most by the dog boss, he did not stop calling Bap. The other dogs also rushed to come together and growled. Bap heard the call of his companion. He slowly opened his eyes. Suddenly he saw a black wolf. The wolf spirit in the heart of Corn suddenly awakened. There was a flash of fear in the eyes of the dog boss. But this time, he was able to subdue the dog boss, throw it up and throw the dog hood on the ground. All these dogs are excited. Just like that, Bap has become the new king of the dogs here. The dog boss can only despair, slowly leaving in the snow. The next day, the owner couldn't find the dog boss. Corn of course became the leader of the group, and Bap did not expect that. As the team captain for the first time, he would save the whole team immediately after. With the order of the owner, the team ran like wild horses. The speed was twice as fast as before. The owner excitedly shouted Bap's name, but suddenly a disaster struck. An avalanche occurred on the snow-capped mountain next to them. The owner hurriedly shouted for Bap to turn left, but Bap calmly observed the terrain and deduced that their speed was not fast enough to escape this avalanche. Then Bap saw a cave below the mountain and made a bold decision. They would directly head into the cave, which surprised the owner. Seeing the snow pouring down, they quickly rushed into the cave. The truth proved that Bap was right. If they did not enter this narrow path, they would have been buried here today. After avoiding the mist event, the owner was very excited. because the mail delivery route was very long and winding. Yet for the first time, the sledding team arrived on time. In this era without phones, people only had this ancient method of delivering mail to contact their loved ones far away. Seeing the happy smiles on everyone's faces, Bap seemed to understand the meaning of a dog pulling a mail sled. That way, Bap became a hero in the town. But shortly after, the owner received a notice from the government that electric mail would soon be popularized, and this ancient method of delivering mail would no longer be needed. The owner lost his proud job, bidding farewell to Bap with tearful eyes. Bap could not bear to see them leaving again because it knew it would be homeless once more. Shortly after, some gold miners bought them. But in their eyes, they only saw money, not pity. It was clear that the sled was frozen, but they thought the dogs were being intentionally lazy. The new owner immediately pulled out a stick. Luckily, an old man named John appeared in time to stop him. John helped them solve the problem and kindly reminded them that in this season, the weather was gradually getting warmer, and the snow was melting. It was very dangerous to travel hastily like this. But in the eyes of these gold miners, they only had money and could not listen to the old man's words. They ignored the danger and continued on their way. But soon they saw that the old man's words were true. The spring snow began to melt, and Bap and the team encountered difficulties. Seeing that the dogs could no longer move, the gold miners used a whip to beat them. Bap worried about the injured team members, so it alone carried the weight of the whole team and continued moving. Soon, everyone was exhausted. The gold miners angrily threw rocks at Bap and then pulled out their guns and aimed at it. At that critical moment, the old man appeared with a short gun. It turned out that he was worried about Bap and rushed to them. In the end, the gold miners left Bap, who was lying unconscious, and continued with the other dogs. Old man John returned home with a panting Bap. When Bap woke up, 3 days had gone by. Seeing the ice on the river had melted, Bap's face was full of worry. It was afraid its teammates were in danger, but now it couldn't help in any way. Bap only knew how to cry out in pain from afar. Now it could only rely on John, but his son had just passed away. John drank every day to forget his sorrow. Bap didn't want to see John give up on himself. It took away John's bottle of liquor and comforted him. With Bap by his side, John gradually escaped from his sadness. He took out the map and led Bap to explore new lands. This was also his son's wish. That way, a man and a dog started a new journey. They followed the river and went deep into the forest. They sang while rowing during the day and slept together at night. Everything was so beautiful. Even a waterfall couldn't stop their progress. Finally, they arrived at a mysterious location on the map. The sunset. Time seemed to stand still. But at this time, they didn't know that the gold miners had followed their lead and broken into John's house and found their map. On this side, John found a wooden house. After cleaning it up, it became their new home. The next day, the old man took Bap to the river to bathe. He looked down and saw a golden object under the water. John picked it up and discovered a lump of gold. Bap also imitated him and picked up a rock. After seeing it, John shook his head and explained that Bap had to find a lump of gold like that one. This time it picked up a huge lump of gold, but the old man didn't see it. Bap thought it was wrong and dropped it directly. At this time, a white wolf passing by the river caught Bap's attention. It immediately chased after the white wolf deep into the forest, but suddenly a huge bear blocked its path. Bap was scared and backed away. After a roundabout way, it finally found the white wolf. This was a white female wolf, and Bap immediately fell into the whirlpool of love. From the first glance, facing class, Bap was so tense that it couldn't even breathe. It hesitated to lift its leg to greet her, but the white wolf snapped at Bap's outstretched foot. Bap's heart was shattered, but in a moment, it decided to pursue her class. From then on, Watercorn did not drink, eat nor want to eat. Follow the white wolf all day like an idiot. One day, a large gray wolf in the pack of white wolves accidentally fell into the river when crossing the river. It was swept away by the fast current. Fortunately, it clung to a tree on the edge of the cliff. All the wolves could only watch. At this time, Corn rushed. It used its mouth to bite the branch, but the branch was broken. Corn used its body to lift the branch, using all its strength, finally saved the gray wolf. The white wolf looked at Bap in surprise, didn't expect it to look stupid, but it was very cool. Corn was happy. All of this was well worth it. Just like that, Corn finally joined the wolves. He also learned how to hunt with wolves. He also brought food to John. He was happy that Bap found his kind. But now he discovered that the time he spent with him was less and less. Seeing Corn with the herd playing together, John realized that maybe nature is the best home for Bap, and he should leave too. Before leaving, he went to Bap to say goodbye. Corn couldn't bear to leave John and followed behind him. John told Bap he didn't need to go with him anymore. "I'm leaving tomorrow morning, remember to say goodbye." Bap knows that this is its final owner. However, in the evening, something unexpected happened. The previous gold digger suddenly burst in. He also set fire to John's house. He pointed a gun at John, forcing John to tell him where the gold was hidden. Took out a lot of gold. All of it was thrown to that guy. But this evil guy didn't intend to let him go. He raised his gun. At a dangerous moment, Corn rushed out from the sea of fire. It pushed the evil man down. This poison fell. Fierce eyes went towards this guy. This villain took out a stick and hit Corn, but it immediately bit the stick, then used his body to push the evil guy into the house, burning. After it was all over, Bap returned to John's side, but he was hit by a bullet. Corn didn't know what to do. It brought him the trumpet and the diary he considers treasured. Hope John can. Happily stood up. It carefully helped him up, but John knew that he would not survive. But he was not afraid of death. Only his eyes could not leave Bap. John rested his head on Corn's back as always, slowly closed his eyes. Corn pressed her face against him. Give him a last word. After John's death, Corn also became the Wolf King in the forest. It successfully destroyed the class. It also gave birth to many cubs. Met the giant bear again. Bap's eyes are steady and fearless. Only seeing it roar, the giant bear gives way in fear. Just like that, Corn leads his pack to live happily in the forest. Just every time he passes by Wooden House, he will always think of the kindness and warmth that John has brought to him.